Our story continues far outside of the castle walls, deep into the bowels of the city. In the midst of night, our shadowy figure creeps, dashing through the night-lit city, holding in his grasp a young prince. His cries fill the night, but that isn't the only noise of note. As he dashes through the city streets, suddenly, an immense racket begins. Bells and whistles and horns in every direction. Alarms, notifying all that something afoul has taken place. The shadowy figure stops for but a moment, looking back at the castle, holding the child in his grasp. No doubt very soon, the soldiers of the kingdom will be everywhere, filling every corner of this city, searching every nook and cranny, leaving absolutely nothing to chance. They will interrogate everyone, search everywhere. Those that are able to track by scent, to fold back the layers of time and see events that have already transpired. Those that can sense the essence of one's very soul. All of these things are at the royal family's disposal. There is no question that they are coming now. The king and queen have just found out their child is missing and will spare no effort whatsoever to find him and punish the one responsible. But our shadowy figure does not seem worried. No. A smile creeps across his face as he glares back at the castle, reaching up to his chest and grabbing a small chain that dangles from his neck. Affixed to it, a gem, a beautiful gem, filled with vibrant lights of rainbow color. A key that will open a doorway to his freedom. In any normal situation, what he just did would be insanity. He would be caught without question and punished mercilessly. But the patron that employed him is a powerful man and has given him a powerful gift, one that will allow him to complete his mission and save him the agony of the punishment that would befall him should he be found out. Turning from the castle, the shadowy figure creeps into a dark alley, finding some space alone before people begin to emerge from their houses to find out what the commotion is about. Lifting the chain with the crystal upon it from his neck, he raises the crystal and focuses his energy into it. The glow of the crystal intensifies as this cloaked figure begins to draw a very large circle in the air. As he does, it leaves a glowing green trail, as if he were drawing on a chalkboard or a piece of paper, simply floating in the air. And as it comes all the way back around, completely finishing the circle, there is a swirl of green light and wind, a whirl as the air begins to pull towards this circle drawn there. The circle itself fills with green light pouring out of it, air flowing through it, causing his cloaks to whip in the breeze. Still, the child's cries fill the space. An infant though it might be, it somehow understands that this is not somewhere it wishes to be, not with someone that it wishes to be with. But as only an infant, it has no power to do anything about it. Finally, the whirling green light that fills the circle begins to die down, ever so slightly as a shimmering image begins to emerge in the circle, as if looking through a window to a different place. On the other side, he can see a forest, grass and weeds, small stones, and countless trees, all filling the space beyond the green doorway. Without hesitation, he leaps into it, passing from one place to another, effortlessly. And as he does, his feet find purchase on soft earth, filled with gentle green grass. He turns to gaze at the portal that he just passed through, to see the light fading, the clear image of the city alley visible on the other side beginning to fade away, suddenly acting as if it were a piece of paper, catching fire as the image itself and the gate to the other side burns away until there's nothing left but the air that magical doorway filled. Now all he can see is the forest around him, an endless number of trees, some of them hundreds of feet tall, others only saplings. He can hear the chirping of strange birds, the croaking of frogs, and countless other sounds from creatures that are unfamiliar to him. This is not a place that he has ever been, only heard about. But the crystal did as it was meant to do, and took him to the place it was meant to take him, somewhere safe from the reach of the king and queen and their armies. They would not be able to track him through the gate. He was free. He had escaped, child in hand, and there he sat, a free man, his task nearly complete. Yes, it's almost done now, he said. All that's left is to get rid of the brat, he said, looking down at the small child in his hands. He bent down, placing the child upon the ground, leaving it there as he stood back to his feet. From a belt affixed upon his waist and hidden beneath those shadowy robes, he pulls a long, twisted blade, a particularly nasty-looking, curved dagger. The shadowy figure smiles. It's almost over. Once this is done, I'm gonna get the payday of a lifetime. Everything I could ever want on a silver platter. Thanks, kid. I really do appreciate it. Rest assured your sacrifices go into a good cause. The cause of me getting whatever the hell I want. Sorry that you had to get dead for it. But what you gonna do? There's always a price for the things you want the most. It's just unlucky for you that you're having to pay for it, instead of me, he said, as he raised the dagger above his head. And there he stood before the child, absolutely ready to end it. Not a second question or thought in his mind. No silly ideas of morality holding him back, keeping him from getting what he wants, until from seemingly nowhere at all, he hears a set of unfamiliar words he's never heard before, from a voice that he's never heard before. Asgar, he hears announced. As he turns to face the voice, there is a bright flash of light that strikes by. Before him stands a woman, a fairly young woman with auburn hair, a light brownish tone, holding aloft a glowing blade, extending from what seems to be nothing more than a butter knife. And yet, he finds himself unable to move, his body no longer responding to the thoughts he has, the commands he wishes to give it. As his eyes glance at the hand he had raised to defend himself, the dagger in his grasp, he sees the hand fall away from the rest of his arm, tumbling to the ground, and suddenly the world around him seems to go topsy-turvy, as he seems to go flipping around in circles. The most disturbing part of it is, for a moment, as he flies away, he could swear that he sees his own body standing in front of that woman. And that's when the realization hits him. He's not flying through the air, only his head flying away from the rest of his body. And but a few moments after that, it's not but darkness for him.